Hello students. Today we are going to discuss about the methods for determination of order of reaction. In this lecture we will further explore this topic. In the previous lecture we have discussed about the derivation of integrated rate equation for second order reaction with same initial concentration and different initial concentration of reactant. We have also discussed pseudo order reaction and the dependence of half-life upon the concentration of the reactants. So we will use those previously discussed concepts to determine the order of reaction. Here we will focus for basically five methods for the determination of order of a reaction. First one is using integrated rate equation. Second one is graphical method. Third one is half-life period, which is followed by differential method, and then finally we will discuss Oswald dilution method or Oswald isolation method. So coming on to first method, that is integrated rate equation. In the rate equations we have seen there is a factor a minus x, and it varies differently with time, because of which we are having different equations for first order reaction and second order reaction. So what we will do, we will put the values of a minus x and t and a in different equations for the first order reaction and second order reaction with different initial concentrations. The case in which we are getting the same value of k will define the order of reaction. So what do you mean to say is that the k, it will remain constant for a particular reaction if we change the initial concentration of the reactant. K is not going to change. Rate constant is not going to change with the initial concentration of reactant. So we will start reaction with two different concentrations, or say three different concentrations, and we will measure a minus x at any time t1, then a minus x1 x2 at any time t2. We will put up these values in the equation for zero order, first order, second order. Then we will measure a minus x3 at any time t3. Then again we will determine the value of k from equation for zero order, first order and second order. The case which gives the same value of k, or the equation which gives the same value of k, defines the order of the reaction. So what do you mean to say? That we will start a reaction with different concentration, and at different times we will measure its concentration. We'll put up these concentration values in different equations. First order, zero order, second order, and third order integrated rate equations. And the equation which gives the constant value of k defines the order of the. So in second method, that is the graphical method. In this, what do we do? Here we are having different methods, different rate equations for the determination of k. So we have derived integrated rate equations for first order reaction as this: ln a upon a minus x is equal to kt. So what do we have? There we have the factor 1 log of a minus x and its dependence with respect to t as inverse relation, because here ln of 1 upon a minus x is proportional to k, is proportional to t, sorry. So what does it mean? Ln of a minus x, it will be inversely proportional to t. So log of 1 upon a minus x, that is directly proportional to t, but log of 1 upon a minus x, this is equal to kt. So t is directly proportional to log of 1 upon x, 1 upon a minus x, but it is inversely proportional to log of a minus x. So for first order reaction, what we will get? We will see that log of a minus x, it is showing a decrease with increasing time. From the second order reaction, what do we have? We have it as that in case of second order reaction, 1 upon a minus x, it is directly proportional to t. 1 upon a minus x is directly proportional to t. So you can see for second order reaction, we are having equation as this. In this equation, if we will take t on this side, then it will be t is equal to 1 upon k into x upon a into a minus x. So t is directly proportional to 1 upon a minus x. So in case of second order reaction, what do we have? Here we are having it as that 1 upon a minus x, it is directly proportional to t. So in this case, the graph, it will show a linear increase. So what do? We will have the measurement for different values of a minus x at different time t, and we will plot the graph. Once we will plot graph between log of a minus x with respect to t, and then graph between 1 upon a minus x with respect to t. In which of the case we get the desired variation? We'll get either of these two, not the same nature for both the reactions or different reactions, having different initial concentration. For a particular reaction, nature of the variation will be the same, whether we change a initial concentration or not. So here what will happen? If log of a minus x, it decreases with t, then that is a first order reaction. But if we are not getting any pattern over there, then we will see if 1 upon a minus x, it increases with t, then it is a second order reaction. So this is also a heat and trial method. Here we will measure the concentration at different times and plot its expressions with respect to t, depending upon the rate equation, integrated rate equation. And the nature of variation will be matched with the integrated rate equation and will define the order of the reaction. And then third is the half-life method. We have seen that the half-life method, it depends inversely with respect to concentration raised to the power of n minus 1. That is, T half is proportional to concentration raised to the power of 1 minus n. Or here by T1 we are representing half-life time for any reaction 1 with initial concentration A1, and T2 is half-life time for same reaction with initial concentration A2, with initial concentration A2. Okay. So for second order reaction, we have seen half-life is proportional to 1 upon a. For third order reaction, it is proportional to 1 upon a square. And from the general equation, we have already seen in the previous class that half-life time or half-life is proportional to 1 upon a to the power of n minus 1. So for different reactions, suppose we are having half-life time T1 and T2, then T2 by T1, that will be equal to A1 upon A2 raised to the power of n minus 1. Since they are inversely proportional, so here it is T1 by T2, here it will be A1 by A2. So here it is T2 by T1, here it will be A1 by A2. So if we take log, then n minus 1 into log of A2 by A1, that is equal to log of T1 by T2. Or we can rearrange it as n is equal to 1 plus log of T1 by T2 upon log of A2 by A1. So what we have to do, we have to measure the half-life time T1 and T2. That we can know from the plot between concentration and time. So the time at which concentration reduces to half, that will give you the T half. So we will start a reaction with two different concentrations, A1 and A2, and when the concentration reduces to half, that will give you T1 and T2. So if A1, A2 and T1, T2 are known, then we can know the order of reaction. That is the half-life method. Then we move towards the differential method. Differential method was suggested by Van 't Hoff, so it is also called as Van 't Hoff method. So if there is a reaction where concentration of reactant is represented by C, rate of reaction is rate of disappearance of reactant, that is minus dC by dt. So that will be equal to K into C to the power of n, where n is the order of reaction and K is the rate constant. So minus, if we are having two different concentrations C1 and C2, then we can write minus dC1 by dt is equal to K C1 to the power of n minus 1, C1 to the power of n, and minus dC2 by dt, that is equal to K C2 to the power of n. If we take log on both sides, then what will happen? Log of minus dC1 by dt, that will be equal to log K plus n log C1. Similarly, log minus dC2 by dt, that will be equal to log K plus n log C2. If we subtract these two cases, then what will happen? Log K is common, so it will be cancelled out, and we will get equation which can be rearranged by taking n common, as n is equal to log of minus dC1 by dt minus dC2 by dt upon log C1 by minus log C2, log C1 minus log C2. So what we will do here, in this case, we will plot the concentration versus time graph, and the slope of that graph will give you dC by dt. So you will get to know dC1 by dt and dC2 by dt, and the initial concentration C1 and C2 are known to you, so you can determine the order of reaction. So to find n, what we'll do, minus dC1 by dt in two experiments is determined by plotting concentration against time t, and the slope it will give at any time. It can be measured by drawing the tangent to the curve. This value will be fitted back in this equation, and we'll get the value of n. Then finally we come to the last method, that is Ostwald isolation method. And this method, what do we do? Here we are using the concept of pseudo order reaction. Means if there are more than two reactants, or more than one also can be considered, then what we do, we will take the concentration of other species too large as compared to one species, so large that the change in concentration of one species is only countable with respect to change in concentration of other species. Means if there are three reactants A, B and C, then we will take concentration of B very large, concentration of C very large. Then what will happen? As the reaction proceeds, practically there will be very less change in concentration of B and C, because they are having very high concentration, so the relative change in their concentration will be very less, and the change in the concentration of A, it will be significant. So practically what we will find, the rate of reaction, it will depend only upon the concentration of A. So it is a first order reaction with respect to A, or its order depends only upon the concentration of A. So we can get the order of concentration, order of the reaction with respect to A, whether it is first order, second order, third order. So for how we will measure that? By using the previous discussed four methods. Any of method we will take, and you will find how does the rate of reaction is varying with concentration of A, and that will give you order of reaction with respect to A. Similarly, next time what we will do, we will increase the concentration of A and C too high, and we will have B at a nominal concentration, or a concentration whose change is significant relatively. So now what will happen? We will get to know the order of reaction with respect to B and B. This will be a pseudo order reaction. whose order dependence will depend only upon B because the concentration of A and C is very high. So practically the change is negligible. Similarly, we will get the order of reaction with respect to C by keeping the concentration of A and B very high. So the overall order of the reaction, it will be given by N is equal to Na plus Nb plus Nc. So if there is only one reactant, then we can use the above discussed four methods. And if the number of reactants is larger, then we can go for Oswald isolation method. We'll isolate different species by keeping their concentration too high. Okay. So we have today discussed five methods for the determination of order of reaction. First one is integrated reactivation method, then graphical method, then half-life period method, differential method or Ventop method, followed by Oswald isolation method. In the next class, we will discuss about the potential energy surfaces. So with this, we stop here. Thank you.